publishing houses here who have been getting increasingly vocal.
Yeah, I think the only redress we have at this point, since the tech companies are not particularly willing to engage with meaningful discussions about it, is to go down the legal route, which unfortunately will take time and be even more expensive. Already there's been a case in California where the judges, the courts have gone through the different headers of the case, and they've dismissed some elements of it, but they've gone forward with the idea that our copyrighted works should not be plundered in this way. So we'll see how that goes, and we'll also see how the publishers have worked for us in this particular way. I mean, it's in all our interests to protect the quality of the written word and to protect the quality of the imagination, which is ultimately what this is about. My work is the product of years of practice, but it's also the product of my imagination. That I have come up with stories that nobody else has come up with in quite this way. And I don't see why that should be available to be ripped off in this way.
Is it too late?
I don't know. I hope it isn't too late, because I think if we go down this road, what we will ultimately see is the impoverishment of the culture. It will sideline authors who are effectively no longer needed, and thus ultimately we end up with a much poorer culture, we end up with a much poorer set of imaginative options. I think if you put broad ideas into AI models, what you get are poor replicas at the moment, and that will improve, obviously, as the machines learn better from everyone else's work. But I would like to think that the human element will be missing.
Except, isn't this the direction we're headed? It's, for example, if they were prepared to pay you, wouldn't that solve your particular issue?
Well, it would solve it on the surface, in that at least authors would be being recompensed for their work. The route we're going down with AI model is the idea that you no longer have to pay authors to produce something in the first place. You just rip off everything that's been done before, feed it through the computer, put a different name into it, a different style into it, say something, write something in the style of Val McDermid and Ali Smith, and you get something different.
How serious a moment do you think this is for writers?
I think it's a very serious moment. If you create a culture where it's no longer economically viable for people to be writers, why would they write?
Are we really at that point?
I don't want to be a sort of doomsayer, but the bottom line is, if you're not being paid for what you do, then you're doing it in the interstices of what you are doing in order to make a living. And so you don't have the kind of focus, the kind of practice, the kind of day-to-day learning your craft that good writers aspire to.
Val McDermid. And we contacted OpenAI, Google DeepMind and Meta for a response, but haven't heard. That's it from us. PM's at 5. I'm Sarah Montague, and that's the world at 1:45.
Studio direction was by Annie Smith. The editor was Sophie Borken. Now on Radio 4, our series marking 40 years since the miners' strike, Strike Boy, with Mark Watson.
So probably, maybe 50 yards from the house, on the way up to the colliery. I just remember a commotion one day. It was warm and it was in the evening, and I just remember someone saying there's like a TV crew on the road, and so I came out of the house and just looked up the road, and there was a big crowd of people hanging around. So kind of I walked up, and some people said that the BBC were here to do something.
In mining communities around Nottingham, the strike is creating a bitterness it's hard for the outsider to appreciate. Next-door neighbours, for years close friends and often workmates, now find themselves on opposite sides.
It was exciting, the BBC were 50 yards from my house, and then I just remember getting close. I was only maybe 10 or so yards away from the guy behind the microphone, and then the police van was behind the camera, and I remember being hit by a policeman. It was just a glove across the face. At the time it was just something that happened. I'm Mark Watson. I'm the son of a striking Nottinghamshire miner, and I was 11 years old when my little mining village was full of police 40 years ago because of the strike. Ever since I was a kid, caught up in the excitement of it all, I've wanted to find out what really happened back then. I'm not a journalist or a podcaster. But the series is just me, a Nottinghamshire miner's son, trying with an open mind to make sense of what happened to my community and to the country. On BBC Radio 4, this is Strike Boy, Episode 6, Policing the Pickets. There was a lot of mistrust of the police back then, rightly or wrongly, but also Mum tells me that one day policeman gave me an apple and orange. We didn't have much, we didn't have much food. The times went up and down on this road here. There were hundreds of police at various points, as well as there were hundreds of pickets. Probably any of them came from anywhere near here. It was just a very, looking back, it was just a very odd time to be in the centre of the world. We're in West Yorkshire. We've come to see a policeman who was a policeman in the strike and the dispute. It'd be interesting to sort of understand his view of the strike. Hiya. Have we found the right house? Yeah. Simon, good to meet you. Nice to meet you, Mark.
Good to see you, Mark.
Thank you very much.
This is just giving me a bit of credibility, is this, before we start. That's me getting my long service award from Lord Lieutenant of Dusty's now. And that's my certificate of loyal service, and it says on there, conduct assessment exemplary. And everybody who read that says, how the hell have you got that, Maps? I said, well, you're just a little bit clever and you don't get caught. I am Alan Mapplebeck, and I was a serving West Yorkshire police officer during the miners' strike.
So how long was you, so you got, this is long service?
26 years. I did 27 and a half.
How long in the strike do you think you spent in Nottinghamshire?
A lot. Certainly half of it. There were obviously, we had our own force to police, but we formed mutual aid, which was PSUs, Police Support Units, which was a driver, which was me, because I had longer service in, and I was a transit train driver. I had an inspector and a sergeant in front of me and 10 cops in the back. When we were moving in convoy, which we did quite a lot, I was like driving the first Black Maria behind the superintendent and a traffic cop driving it in the Range Rover. So we were like first at every job sort of thing. Which was exciting, but sometimes a bit, oh shit. A lot of time you were sat on your backside in sunshine in summer, but you couldn't take your boots off. So what you did was you all had shorts on underneath, or boxer shorts, and we just laid on grass, trousers down there like that, sat in sun, playing cards or smoking with just a vest on for a couple of hours, and then it were right, get dressed lads, you're back on entrance, But you couldn't take your boots off in case there were a shout.
What kind of information did you use to get about where pickets would be, or where there's going to be a major flashpoint?
Well, we didn't know initially, but eventually we were always sent somewhere, and obviously the information were coming in, intelligence were coming in from somewhere, obviously. I didn't hear from a good source that they had a phone tapped in engineering quarters, so we knew, and we were usually there before them.
Did you generally get on okay with the miners?
Yeah,
on the
yeah,
picket
fine.
lines?
Well, what we said to them was, look, we're not here to fall out. We're doing what we're told. And, you'd had pie, chips and peas, front mobile canteen, sometimes you'd had it twice, and then you got a packed meal with crisps and water in and a pork pie. Pork pies. Because, they've got kids and stuff like that, and we were getting fatter and getting paid all this overtime, and actually, we felt sorry for them. We did a lot of riot training.
In anticipation for the strike?
No, just generally, because we'd had the 81 riots in Chapeltown and Leeds, Toxteth and Moss Side. I went to Toxteth and Moss Side. So we were trained up for it. So that's why we were like sort of the first force to go.
Was it a big kind of mining area?
In West Yorkshire we didn't have as many as South Yorkshire, but we did have quite a few. We had Embley, it's just up there where Masters. And that in winter was the coldest place I have ever been.
It's cold at this part of the world anyway.
It is, yeah. I remember we built this little, like a dugout out of pallets, because you had to watch through infrared glasses for 2 hours on, and then you were 2 hours in a portico, and then we were all sleeping or playing cards. And me and my mate were just looking, and he had a look through binoculars and said, let's have a look at this map. There must be a lot of headlights coming over. It's only 2:30 in the morning though. Headlights, more headlights coming from the Barnsley area. I thought, shit, this is a big picky. And we were like a cork in a bottle at the top of this lane. There were thousands of them and about 400 of us. And then they started throwing potatoes at us out of this field, and then we realised potatoes had 6-inch nails in them. So we then had to get policemen's helmets off, NATO helmets on and visors down, and I ended up stuck. And my feet were off floor for a few minutes, and I ended up with hyperventilation. So they pulled me out and took me into Pithead area, and there were a miner who had pneumoconiosis. They used to get miners. It was the chest. And I was in an ambulance with him, and there were 5 ambulances going to Pinderfields, and they thought he were dying, and I was in an ambulance with him. So the motorcycle escorted us. A lot more frightening than hotels. We went crazy. Anyway, he survived.
How did you feel when you were getting potatoes lobbed at you?
Well, I wasn't that happy. I mean, they threw bottles and stuff and bricks at us. When you were working 12 hours a day up in West Yorkshire or South Yorkshire, you were working 12 hours a day plus an hour either end travelling to get to where you were going. So you were working 14, sometimes 15 hours a day. And if it were your day off, you were on time and a half. And if it were a bank holiday, 15 hours at double time. That wasn't bad. And that's why there's a lot of Scargill suites and stuff like that in people's houses, because they'll end up getting some money out.
What's a Scargill suite?
An extension called the Scargill suite, or like a big conservatory. It's a regular thing.
So they call the Scargill suite because
it was built on overtime.
Because it was built on overtime.
Courtesy of Margaret Thatcher and Arthur Scargill.
I mean, that's not just, I guess, typical for West Yorkshire. There were forces from the rest of the country coming.
Right. Well, the Met came in the little green buses, and they were just a joke. When they got out at Van, they were always scratching their backside and yawning and lighting a fag. They were just showering with it. Like the Met burning £20 notes. You've heard that, haven't you?
I've not heard that.
Stood in lay-bys with their little green buses and went pickets and going past it cars, waving a £20 note and setting fire to it.
What do you think about that?
Well, it's ridiculous. Job were had enough, was it? Well, most of the time it was jocular with miners, but Orgreave got a bit naughty.
This afternoon at the Orgreave Coke Works was a level of violence not seen on British streets in any recent industrial dispute.
Orgreave were a bit different. When the big push came at Orgreave, there were Portakabin which had wheels on, set fire and pushed down the hill. Then ramming shields with a telegraph pole. I did get hit with a brick and got knocked over. It hit me on the shoulder.
How did you feel at Orgreave?
Orgreave, when the coking wagons were going out and there was a big push from then, it was a bit frightening. And then some of Bobbies had, well, you've seen it up telly, had break ranks and they were told not to. And then they're running all over and eating each other and kicking each other. There's no way I was doing that.
Are these guys panicking, or are they aggressive?
I think they were merely panicking, but some of them were just red mist. You know, they'd lost it. You'd been stood behind that shield for God knows how many hours.
Can you know of any sort of examples of, or heard of anything where there's just sort of kind of summary justice been
Oh yeah, there were a lot of people hit with a truncheon and not arrested. But then again, there were a lot of cops kicked in the goalies, and a couple of cops who ended up on the ground at Orgreave, as you may see on telly, got a kicking when they were on ground, and we had to go fetch them back, you know, because I were part of a little 3-man or 4-man snatch squad which went out like in a shape like that with the short shield, just to bring somebody in who were injured or bring a prisoner in.
There's some people that sort of said that the army were involved with the police during the strike. Can you remember that?
I've been stood next to some lads who didn't sort of act like cops, and I'm pretty sure, because they just act like overalls on, blue overalls. Not green army overalls, but blue overalls, which we all had flame-proof overalls. Just where they acted, you know, I thought they must be army. Unless they were spotters. Could have been police spotters. Because everybody were watching for us getting into trouble as well by overreacting.
Do you ever think at the time that you were politicised in a way? So you just became moved from sort of law enforcers to being given more powers?
No, I think we were used, you know, publicly by being moved en masse, and I think government wanted us to be there in big numbers so that everybody saw it and that she wasn't giving in. So I suppose that was one of Margaret Thatcher's handmaidens. But we just had to do as we were told.
What did you think of what he had to say? A lot of it was quite difficult to listen to be honest. Again, it was just a job for him. Obviously with lots of benefits, but also lots of danger attached to it. The miners on strike on one side and not getting paid and struggling to feed their families, and the police on the other side get fed at regular intervals, and then in lots of money to pay for extension on the houses, but you know, also giving food to the miners as well. They're good and bad on all sides. You know, I think it's a human dispute as well as a industrial dispute. I think it sort of does bring out the best and worst in people. Still 40 years on, it's difficult to hear it. And that's from me, who was technically a bystander really in it. But I heard rumours about the NUM headquarters being tapped, so I wasn't really surprised to hear Alan talk about that. I guess, looking back for me, what's more shocking to me is that my dad was convinced our phone was tapped. I guess as a kid, it didn't really seem to bother me. It sort of felt normal in a way. But you know, if I found out my phone was being tapped now, I'd really be worried. Next time on Strike Boy, the Battle of Orgreave from the other side.
He fetched it down up lad's top of his head, it went whack. And I remember seeing this young lad putting his hands up top of his head, blood spluttering out all over, and then collapsing like a stone to the ground.
Strike Boy was presented by Mark Watson and produced by Simon Mabin. And tonight Radio 4 revisits the story of the arson attacks on holiday homes and estate agents in Wales in the 1980s. Who were the terrorists Meibion Glyndŵr, the sons of Glyndŵr, and how did they escape arrest and conviction? Home Fires tells their story at 8 o'clock.
Radio 4's journey from fertilisation to first birthday continues.
There was a woman, and now there's an entire new human who's arrived into the world through her body. It's just mind-blowing.
I'm exploring how science, society and history have shaped our approaches to childbirth.
I know women will put their body through anything for the best of the baby, but that doesn't mean that they have to.
Child, with me, India Akaton.
I got the nurse to show me the placenta and then took a photo because I just think it's just such an amazing thing.
Continues next Monday to Friday afternoon at 1:45 on Radio 4 and BBC Sounds.
BBC News at 2 o'clock. The former Conservative Party Vice Chairman Lee Anderson has defected to Reform UK. He's the party's first MP since it was founded by Nigel Farage in 2018. Mr Anderson lost the Tory whip last month after he said Islamists had taken control of the London Mayor Sadiq Khan and refused to apologise. The Home Secretary James Cleverly was asked about his former colleague today.
It wasn't that long ago where Lee Anderson said that a vote for reform is only going to let the Labour Party in, and I very much agree with that assessment. I like him personally. I think he's made a real mistake.
The Princess of Wales has apologised for a photo that Kensington Palace released on Mother's Day of her and her children. Several major news agencies withdrew the picture because of concerns it had been manipulated. In a statement, Kate said, like many amateur photographers, she occasionally experimented with editing. It was the first picture of her to be released since her abdominal surgery in January. Israel has continued its offensive in Gaza on the first day of the Islamic holy month of Ramadan. The Hamas-controlled health ministry says 16 people were killed and many wounded in an airstrike in Gaza City. Israel says it has killed 15 militants in central Gaza. The former Welsh Health Minister says he's embarrassed that most of his WhatsApp messages from the pandemic have been deleted. giving evidence to the COVID inquiry in Cardiff. Vaughan Gething said he had tried to recover the information and insisted the app was not used for making government decisions. Nottinghamshire Police has been put under special measures and told to urgently produce an improvement plan. His Majesty's Inspectorate of Constabulary and Fire and Rescue Services took the decision after an inspection in January. Forces Chief Constable Kate Mennell said she recognised the serious nature of the findings. Oppenheimer has emerged as the big winner at the Oscars. It won 7 awards, including Best Picture, Best Actor for Cillian Murphy, and Best Director for Christopher Nolan. BBC News.
This is BBC Radio 4. Round Britain Quiz is back for a new series in an hour's time. In the first match, Wales play the south of England. Kirsty Lang is in the chair at 3 o'clock. First though, Tony is busy with some Mother's Day DIY in the Archers.
Bring it down a couple of inches, would you, George, in line with the top of the window.
Is that better?
Yeah, yes, that's it. Now, make a pencil mark where the screws need to go.
There and there.
Okay, great. Now, carefully pass me down the hide.
There you go.
That's it.
Where's the other one going?
I think Natasha says she wants it over by the counter.
Oh, they're going to look great. Are they actually from the Bridge Farm Angus's?
Well, no, these ones are bigger than an Angus hide, but I went for the best colour match rather than size.
I didn't think they'd be so soft and glossy. How are you going to stop people from stroking them?
Well, I think we should encourage it. The colour, the warmth, what would you say? The whole tactile charm of having hides on the wall. It's part of their attraction.
Back to nature and all that?
Yeah, back to a relationship between food and farming that gets lost. What with great long supply chains and supermarkets, we're saying that here at Bridge Farm Teepham we don't need to conceal the fact that meat comes from an animal. And to respect that animal, we should be using every bit of it.
Except these hides aren't from Burkos.
No, but they could be.
Tony!
What's up, fella? Everything all right?
I thought you said you'd be finished by now. Our first Mothering Sunday bookings will start turning up soon. I don't want the sound of drilling while we serve Simnel cake to frazzled mothers.
No, of course not, sorry. We'll get this one up quickly and pop back on Tuesday to do the one over by the counter.
By the counter? Well, I thought we'd agreed you'd keep them to the seating area, not hanging over the food.
Just following Natasha's instructions. Have a word with her if you like.
No, it's fine. Whatever she says.
I think they're going to look marvellous.
I'm worried they'll make the room darker. What do you think, George?
I mean, they're nice, but also, yeah, I agree with you there, Fallon. They are quite dark.
This teacup is beautiful. It's lovely to drink out of.
It was between that and a ceramic Wellington boot with a face.
Odd choice.
I took Martha to that vintage charity shop in Felpersham to pick something out for you.
Ah.
That cup and the weird boot man were the two things that caught her eye.
Well, maybe we can get you the boot man for Father's Day.
Yeah.
Chris, is everything all right?
Yeah, of course. Anyway, we'll get off now. Let you get ready for your afternoon tea with Kate.
Well, that's if you can persuade Martha to abandon her game. I mean, she's got that beautiful doll's house to play with, but instead she's building a hospital for bugs out of toilet rolls and yogurt pots.
We can take it with us to my mum's.
Well, wish Susan a happy Mother's Day from me.
I will do. And I was thinking about your mum this morning.
Thanks, Chris. She was very fond of you. Are you sure you're okay?
Yeah. But
what?
There is something, but can we talk about it tomorrow?
What is it?
I didn't want to say. Not this weekend, with Martha's birthday and Mother's Day.
But you can't admit something's wrong, then expect me to leave it.
Look, let's talk tomorrow.
I thought things were good between us. We're doing really well, aren't we?
Are we?
Yes. What's this about, Chris?
It's about Harry. I know about him.
What do you know?
Helen, we're nearly done. No more drilling. I just want to do some measuring up before we pack away.
But our Mother's Day customers are already arriving.
Be quiet, I promise.
Tony, we've sold this as an indulgent escape. It doesn't look good having tools around and George up a ladder.
Yeah, you're right. Well, we'll just grab our stuff and get out of your way. George, pack up the toolbox for me, would you? No problem.
Afternoon, Kate.
Afternoon. It's wonderful in here.
Happy Mothering Sunday.
Thank you. Had a really nice morning. Phoebe rang while I was still in bed, and then I spoke to Nonna Tando and Sipo while Dad made me breakfast.
Oh, sounds lovely.
Hope we booked.
Packed. Yeah, we've been turning people away. I've put you and Alice over there.
What is that monstrosity?
Oh, I assume you're talking about Tony's cowhide.
It's hideous. Is it real?
I'm afraid so.
Oh, I can't be expected to eat a vegan afternoon tea under the flayed pelt of a once sentient creature.
I agree, Kate. I'll move you. Jill and Elizabeth can have your table. You take this one.
Thank you.
Can I get you a tea or a coffee?
A jasmine tea.
Sorry for the disruption. George will finish sweeping up and I'll be out of your hair.
Okay, thanks.
I know you weren't keen on the idea of the Hines fella, but now we've got that one off, you have to admit it does look rather good.
It's bad enough you eat the animal, never mind humiliating it, displaying it like a hunting trophy.
Kate, I know you're not a meat eater, but I'm sure you prefer we're open about the journey of the food we serve. We're a farm tea room. Let's embrace the story of that.
Good idea. Why not cover the walls in images of the slaughterhouse then?
A jasmine tea, wasn't it? Coming right up.
All right, Violet. That's all done. You can eat a slice of cake off that floor now.
Thanks, George, you're a star.
I need somewhere to put this hide until Tuesday.
I don't care where it goes, as long as it is nowhere near the kitchen.
Guessing you're not a fan.
Doesn't matter what I think, I just hope more customers aren't put off.
Oh, maybe Tom and Natasha want people to make a fuss. Get them talking, like this will be their USP. You know what a USP is?
Yes, of course I do. I've been on all the business courses. You know how to jump through the hoops for rural grants, smart targets, KPIs, all that jargon.
Well, all I can say is they must be making a mint if they can throw 400 quid at a couple of cowhides.
Is that what they cost?
Yep, £200 a pop.
Oh well, it's not my money.
Harrison shouldn't have told you that.
I thought I knew. Anyway, don't have a go at Harrison. From what I've heard, he's really stuck his neck out for you.
I wasn't having a go at him. He's been brilliant. I wish you'd have said something at the time.
And that's what you're going to focus on.
Look, I was going to tell you, but it just didn't seem like the right moment, and it's embarrassing. Look, I knew there was something wrong with you.
Well, I needed time to think about it.
Silent fume. Look, I know it's a shock, but trust me, if anyone should be full of resentment that the man I thought might actually be nice was in fact a liar, then it should be me.
And he's the only one, is he? That's a liar.
I haven't met you.
You lied about why you split up with him.
Keep your voice down. Martha.
You didn't think to mention he got arrested while driving a car and wasted.
I didn't know he was a drinker.
Come on, Alice, you're an alcoholic. You must have known.
A recovering alcoholic. And no, I didn't.
You must have spotted the signs.
Oh, well, you know us addicts. We're very good at hiding it.
Yeah, you said it.
I can't believe you're being like this.
Did you drink together? Is that why you liked him? You've been drinking this whole time?
No, stop it.
Sorry, I shouldn't have said.
It's actually none of your business. Any of this. It's my mess. Why would you care?
Because of Martha. And you're my what? You're my ex. When Harrison told me, I thought I was going to be sick.
Yeah, well, imagine how it felt for me. I liked Harry.
I don't want to know. I don't want to hear anything about that now.
Are you angry at me?
Yes. No. Not at you, but at this.
It's Kate. She wants to know where I am.
It's exactly what I wanted to avoid.
I better go. I'll just say bye to Martha.
Do you want me left?
No, thanks. Martha's bag's on the bed. Let me slip out. Oh, and don't worry. I promise I'll stick to tea.
There's another another pot of tea, Kate?
Oh, thank you.
And do you want us to start preparing your sandwiches and cakes, or is Alice?
Oh, no, she's on her way. She's texted me her order.
Ah, perfect. What do you have at hand?
I'll go for the vegan full afternoon tea. But can I have fruit scones with jam only, so no butter or cream?
Oh, well, Emma will be disappointed. She's very proud of the stiffness of her whip on the plant-based cream. And for Alice?
Well, she'd like the full works, so meat, fish, cheese, whatever you're serving. And a large latte with dairy milk, please.
Okay, that's it then.
Sorry. Where on earth have you been?
Don't ask.
Well, I've drunk so much tea that nature is calling. I've ordered yours.
Thanks. Oh, Fallon. Wait a minute. How are you? How are things, with Harrison?
He's trying to keep busy. He's focusing on the cricket.
Oh, that's great.
But I can see he's struggling.
Of course.
He said Martha's birthday tea was nice.
Yeah, I missed you there. Thanks for the doll's house. That was an incredible present. It was unbelievably generous of you both.
Oh, that was all Harrison. I didn't even know he was getting it.
Oh.
Anyway, I better get on. I've got your afternoon teas to make.
Of course, yeah. Fallon.
Yes.
Have you been interviewed yet?
No. They said it will be some time this week.
Right. Good luck.
Yeah, thanks.
I had an informal interview yesterday.
On Martha's birthday?
Well, I wanted to get it over with.
Right. Well, I need to get on.
I'm really sorry about all this.
Yeah, I know.
I wish I could go back.
Look, we just have to get on with it now. Hope for the best.
And there I was, thinking you were meant to be the punctual sister.
I'm sorry, Kate. I would explain why, but for once, I'd like to be the sister who's in a neck deep in drama.
Don't be ridiculous. Sit down. Tell me everything.
I'd rather talk about anything else, to be honest.
Well, if you're sure. Would you rather hear about Jakob refusing to talk about whatever's happening at the vets, or how Sabrina Thwaite brought her dog for a massage at Spiritual Home on Friday?
Oh, I don't know.
Or I could tell you exactly how many times Dad has complained about the weather and the replanting.
Oh no, please not that. He's reacted to every conversation he's had with Stelson.
I love him to bits, but our mother must have been a saint to live with him all those years. So come on, tell me what happened.
No, really, it's nothing.
Is it Harry?
No. Then yes. Chris found out about his arrest. He's really not happy about it.
And how is Harry getting arrested your fault?
Well, I should have been less stupid, less gullible, less desperate to believe that something might work.
Alice, stop. This has been awful for you, but you're not to blame.
It's not what Chris thinks. We had a horrible row. We couldn't even do that properly because Martha was in the next room.
Oh, forget Chris. This is the time to concentrate on your own journey of healing.
I can't forget Chris when I have to see him practically every day. It's hard enough when we're getting on. Now there's an atmosphere, everything's going to be so difficult.
Look, you're right. You can't forget Chris. You obviously need to find a time to talk to him when Martha isn't around, but you also need to look after yourself. We need to find you a fun distraction.
Yeah. I'm actually okay. What I really need to do is go over to the forge tomorrow and sort this out. I'm Emily Knight, and I'll be telling the stories of our planet through the animals that call it home.
We all want to protect this region. We are actually just the guests. They are the hosts.
Tracking the Planet on Radio 4 and BBC Sounds begins this Thursday afternoon at 4.
We've got another short story from Trinidad for you in the Chronicles of Burke Street in half an hour. Now on Radio 4, our murder mystery drama Sabine continues. Ellie has found a USB drive of secret recordings Sabine made before she died.
Sabine by Mark Healy. Episode 4.
Hey Els, how you been? Miss me yet? So, you found the USB stick. Congratulations.
Oh, it's so weird talking to you like this. What is it, Friday 23rd of Feb? And I only spoke to you this afternoon, but I miss you, sis. There's just so much I can't say on the phone. Then again, if you're watching this, you must have come down here to the flat. Pretty weird, right? And if I'm not here, there, I must be in some sort of trouble, maybe even locked away at His Majesty's pleasure. And you must be wondering what the hell's been going on. Okay, so to explain, on this extremely precious drive, there's a lot of videos, documents, data files. Basically, it's everything I've been working on these past few months. Now, I know I haven't told you or Ma about flunking out of uni, but you have to trust me. What I'm doing now is far more important. Basically, I've been working with an activist group against the multinational oil and gas company Invacor. They've got their claws sunk deep into governments all over the world. Main headline, we've got a big operation against them coming up. It's all pretty scary, and so I wanted to document it here for you. Els, I don't need to tell you, you are the most important person in my life. I know I've been kind of weird and not very communicative recently, and for that I am truly... no apologies, right? Not